There are some great unanswered questions in life. Are we alone in the universe? Is the Pina Colada song the most catchy song of all time? And where was the Pina Colada actually invented? There are actually 2 bars in Puerto Rico which bear a plaque proclaiming themselves to be the birthplace of this legendary beverage: the Caribe Hilton's Beachcomber Bar and the Barachina restaurant. There's even a pirate who gets some credit too. Realistically, the simple combination of rum, coconut and pineapple has been played with in the kinds of tropical places that are home to all three basically since rum was invented, but it does seem to be the Caribe Hilton which combined the name Pina Colada and the drink that we know now. The hotel itself gives specific credit to the bartender Ramon Marrero Perez. What a claim to fame. Pina Colada means strained pineapple, and there was actually a Cuban predecessor of this name, which was more like a pineapple daiquiri, as well as it being what just straight fresh pineapple juice on shaved ice was called. Coconut cream had always been a pretty labor-intensive process, but in the 1950s, Coco Lopez hit the market, which is a delicious canned and sweetened coconut cream, and so it became more viable for high-volume bars to use it in drinks. At the Caribe, they started adding it to their Pina Fria, which was just rum and pineapple. They named a new concoction the Pina Colada, even though it didn't really make sense, but they never looked back. Of course, the frozen Pina Colada is how a lot of bars serve this, and it's great for parties, but I reckon we're gonna save that for a whole episode on frozen drinks, so let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea, and we're gonna stick with the shaken version for the time being. Now, I may get some flack for this, but I also don't think that fresh pineapple juice is absolutely necessary. Don't get me wrong, if you live somewhere with access to deliciously ripe pineapples at all times of the year, then you should definitely take advantage of that. As those in the know say, the best pina coladas are made with crappy rum, amazing pineapple juice, and consumed in a tropical location. But bottled is just fine in my opinion, and means that you can have spur-of-the-moment pina coladas whenever you like. Just try and get an unsweetened one if you can. And if you can't get your hands on Coco Lopez, then you can just use regular coconut cream, but also add about 15 to 20 mils of cane sugar syrup. And this is also definitely worth looking at in a bar environment to help with your costs, because Coco Lopez is much more expensive than regular coconut cream. And as with many drinks of this ilk, there's 1,000 different variations. So some people like to add regular cream or lime juice or bitters. You can obviously experiment the same as you can with the rum. I prefer to keep it nice and bright, so I'm using Plantation 3-Star as a full flavored white rum, but I've also had great variations made with both lighter in body rums and darker rums. Personally, I do steer clear of either spiced or flavored rums, as I just like to see the simplicity of those 3 flavors working together. So first of all, we're gonna get our garnish ready. Now, the traditional garnish for this is a skewered pineapple wedge and pineapple frond. But of course, if you're not using fresh pineapple juice anyway, then there's no point getting a whole pineapple just for the garnish. So kind of just whatever you have to hand. I like a big orange wedge and a cherry, and would it really be a pina colada without a cocktail umbrella or some other adornment? Go for a little turquoise one, because that's my favorite color. Now, all of these guys usually have a little band that you just use to push the umbrella up, and then that makes it stay where it's supposed to. I did actually not have these when we did the hurricane. It's kind of fun to flip it inside out when it's a hurricane as a bit of a little joke. And skewer a cherry, and then into your orange wedge. Now, we're gonna go 60 mils of Plantation 3-Star. 60 mils of pineapple juice. Now, Coco Lopez can be a little bit difficult to work with. It does when you first open the tin. It generally has like a mass of solids on the top and then sort of the oil separated underneath. So you do need to mix it through. The easiest way is just to pop it in a little water bath for a couple of minutes, or even on top of a coffee machine, something kind of warm. And then that way you can mix it and it makes it nice and liquid and easier to work with. If you are doing it in a bar environment, then I'd recommend doing that with a few tins at the beginning of service, popping them then all into squeezy bottles, and that's gonna be by far the easiest way to control it while you're using it. 30 mils of your Coco Lopez. Fill your shaker tin with ice and shake as hard as you can. You want a nice cold glass to stand up to the tropical heat that we're pretending that we're in here, and fill that with fresh ice. Use your hawthorn strainer to hold the ice back and pour through the fine strainer so that we're getting rid of all the little ice chips just in case they ruin the nice creamy texture. Nice fun straw and your OTT garnish. Pina Colada. So now you know. I want to close my eyes and just like pretend I'm on the beach just now. If we could turn the heating on, that would be awesome. It's sweet, it's fruity, it's boozy, it's delicious. There's a reason that this just is, you know, such a classic. I don't think I've ever met somebody that doesn't like it. I do like that, obviously, as much as it is creamy, that's really more the texture, like and there is a fair amount of sweetness in there, but the thing about sort of creaminess, it definitely doesn't kind of do that coat your mouth thing. It's still actually really refreshing, especially if you have the nice cold glass and fresh ice and everything. That should last you a little while, even if you are in more tropical climates than we are here. Yeah, as I said, just definitely my favorite holiday drink.